How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And I appreciate everybody that takes time out of their busy schedule to watch my videos. First, I want to say, yesterday I posted a video about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer trying to pressure Donald Trump, even though he's not going to be president, for another almost 2 weeks, to work with them on gun control, them wanting to play Let's Make a Deal. And I thank everybody that watched the video. And if you haven't watched that video yet, I'll post a link to it, and you can go watch that video. And also I want to welcome aboard the over 50 new subscribers that came from that video yesterday. As you can see, I had to break out my Defund the ATF shirt. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a video about a gun activist named Mark Manley, and he goes by the name of Choppa. And that video got over 50,000 views. And also, if you'd like to take a look at that video, I'll post a link at the end of this video so you can take a look at it as well. But I'll cover a lot of what happened in this video as well. The ATF did a no-knock raid on his home, and his wife and kids were there. And of course they did it in the ATF manner of not being safe at all. They just didn't knock on his door during the daytime and tell him they needed to talk to him. They have a search warrant. They didn't wait for him to leave the house away from his family and then pull him over and then go back to the house and do the search warrant. They decided to do it in the early morning hours and throw flashbangs into his house and ordering the family out at gunpoint and then ransacking their home for hours. And they ran the serial numbers of all of the firearms that he had. And after all was said and done, nobody was arrested, not even Choppa. And they didn't confiscate any firearms, any of his ammunition. They only confiscated one cell phone, which they gave back to him a week later. And still he's never been charged with a crime. And the ATF isn't talking. All they say, they can't comment because the search warrant is sealed. And once I give you a little bit of the information that we found out, you'll see why it's sealed. And it's not because they're building a case against him, because there isn't one. But of course, after this raid and throwing flashbangs into their home, the place was torn apart. Both the doors on the front and back of the house were pretty much destroyed. Other windows were broken because of the flashbang, as well as the floors where the flashbangs went off. And get this, they had only lived in that house for 3 months. And the thing is, they have to spend their own money to replace the doors and the windows and do all this cleanup because of this ATF no-knock raid, where no one was arrested. Also, I forget to mention, after the first video that I made about what happened, Choppa Manley actually left a comment on the video thanking me for covering what happened to him and his family. And I'm glad to do so because it seems like not a lot of people are covering this. And ever since the raid has happened, like I said, there still hasn't been any charges brought against Manley or anybody else. And there's been no explanation why the raid happened to begin with. And it would be very interesting to find out why a judge signed off on it to begin with and who this judge was. And of course the ATF hasn't apologized for the raid either. And the government should be the ones paying for the damage to their home. Like I said earlier, the search warrant is still sealed. But according to Choppa Manley's wife, when she read the search warrant, it said the reason for the raid was that her husband was a felon in possession of firearms. But guess what? He's not a felon. And like I said, they ran the serial numbers on his firearms and everything was fine. He doesn't own any machine guns. He doesn't sell firearms. Choppa Manley said after the raid that he believes that somebody swatted him. But here's the thing. If they believed that he was a felon in possession of firearms, and he would be in jail. And before they did this ridiculous raid, them being the ATF, they very easily could have found out if he was a felon or not. And also, what evidence did they put before the judge, and that judge signing off on the search warrant? And not only does the family have to foot the bill for all the damage to their home, they say their kids were traumatized so bad by this no-knock raid. Their kids are now in therapy. Manley is not a felon, and all of his firearms are legal. And yet somehow the ATF got a judge to sign off on this ridiculous raid. But if he's not a felon, what excuse did they use? Most likely what the ATF did is they just made shit up so they can conduct this raid because they don't like Manley, because of what he stands for. And that's that he owns a lot of guns. And he's very critical of the ATF and the government. And he has a large following on social media. I'm going to say it right here and right now. The ATF targeted Manley because he believes in the Second Amendment, and he's critical of the ATF and the government. And when Donald Trump gets into office soon, Congress needs to look into this, and people need to be fired, and they need to go to jail for what they did to him and his family. People should be outraged at crap like this. I guess they're lucky that they just didn't execute him and his family like they did to that one guy. As always, let me know your thoughts about today's video in the comment section. And if you enjoy videos like this, and also you want to help the channel and help it to continue to grow like it's been for the past couple of weeks, I just ask you to take a few seconds of your time to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the post notifications, as well as leaving a comment. And I'd be very grateful if you did so. And once again, I appreciate everybody's support last year. And even more, I appreciate all the support that you guys are giving me so far this year. And as always, I invite all of you to come back and watch my next video. And also don't forget, let your friends, your family, and your co-workers know about the channel. I thank you so very much again, and we'll see you next time.